The clock at the murder scene should have stopped forever, but it only comes alive when I'm there. And what it revealed? Changed everything. Jehi 2 main, Opco 526 or alternate hooks bivana done, Jo op har video k li rote kark use kar saken, talk audience bor naho or CTR barhe. For example, you can say, the doll's eyes followed me. I turned around slowly, and that's when I saw. Or you can say, the diary had one entry. It read, beware the killer is among us. And then I realized. Or you can say, the painting on the wall was a secret passageway to another world, but the moment I stepped through, I was trapped. These are just some ideas to get your creative juices flowing. Use them as a template and make your own unique hooks. Just remember to keep them short, punchy, and intriguing. And don't forget to use emojis to get those views and engagement. The clock at the murder scene, it only works when I'm there. And every time it moves, something terrible happens. It started the night I returned to the abandoned house. The house where a brutal killing had taken place 10 years ago. The neighbors said nothing good ever survives that place. But I wasn't ready for what I was about to see. The living room was frozen in time, furniture draped in dust, shattered glass on the floor and on the wall. The old grandfather clock, dead silent until I stepped closer. That's when I heard it. Tick, tick, tick. The sound echoed like a heartbeat through the empty house. I froze. The police report was clear. This clock had stopped at the exact time of the murder. It should never have worked again, but it was moving. For me. I tried to step back, the ticking slowed, then stopped. I stepped forward. Tick, tick, tick. My stomach dropped. Was it broken, or was something controlling it? That's when I saw it. The clock hands weren't moving at random. They were spinning backward, fast, dragging the time back to the very hour, the very minute of the murder. The room grew colder. My breath fogged in front of me, and in the corner of my eye, a shadow moved. That's when I realized I wasn't alone in the house. To be continued. The murder scene clock only works when I'm there. Part 2. The clock was dragging me back to the moment of the murder. And now I wasn't alone in the house. I froze, staring at the shadow stretching across the wall. It moved slowly, like someone was pacing the room, but the house was locked. The windows were boarded shut. No one should have been here. The ticking grew louder, tick, tick, tick until it sounded like a countdown, and then the air shifted. I felt the presence before I saw it. A chill swept over my skin, sharp as ice. I turned my head, heart pounding, and there she was. A woman, her dress soaked in blood, her eyes wide with terror. Her lips moved, whispering something I couldn't hear. Then she pointed at the clock. I stumbled backward, whispering, "What do you want from me?" But she didn't answer. She only grew closer, her fingers still aimed at the clock face. If you're hooked already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss more chilling stories like this. The hands on the clock slammed to a stop. The exact time the murder had happened. The house trembled. The glass in the windows rattled, and suddenly I wasn't in the house anymore. The walls blurred. The air thickened. And when I blinked, I was standing in the same room but 10 years in the past. The murder was about to happen. To be continued. I was standing inside the house, but it wasn't abandoned anymore. It was alive. And the murder was about to happen. The room was lit by a single lamp. Voices carried from the kitchen. Angry, sharp, fast. I recognized them from the case files. The victim and the man accused of killing her. But he swore he was innocent. And now I was about to see the truth with my own eyes. I crept toward the doorway. The clock behind me ticked louder and louder, like it wanted me to hurry. In the kitchen, I saw her. The same woman I'd seen as a ghost. Alive, breathing, terrified. She clutched a phone in her hand, whispering something I couldn't hear. Then footsteps pounded behind her. A man stormed in, red-faced, fists clenched. "Put it down," he growled. Her voice cracked as she begged, "Please, don't." The clock in the other room thundered. Tick, tick. Then it happened. He lunged forward. She screamed. The phone clattered to the floor, but before he could reach her, the lights flickered. Time froze. The woman turned her head. Her eyes locked on mine, as if she could see me, as if she knew I didn't belong there, and she whispered one word, "Run." That's when I realized the killer wasn't who I thought it was. Someone else was in the house. To be continued? Part 4 of the murder scene clock. Only works when I'm there. The woman's whisper still echoed in my ears. Run. Because the killer wasn't who I thought it was. The accused man stood frozen mid-lunge, his face locked in rage, but his body stiff like a statue. Time had stopped around him. Only the woman and I could move. Her eyes darted past me toward the dark hallway behind, and that's when I heard it. A second pair of footsteps. Slow, heavy, deliberate. The hairs on my neck rose. I turned, heart hammering, and saw a shadow step forward. Not the man. Someone taller, broader, a figure masked in darkness. The woman's lips trembled. "This is who killed me," she whispered. The shadow moved closer, carrying something glinting in its hand. A knife. Not the weapon the police ever found. This was different. Clean, sharp, deliberate. The accused man wasn't the killer. He was just another pawn in the nightmare. If you're hooked already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss more chilling stories like this. The shadow figure stepped into the light. and my blood ran cold because I knew that face. I had seen it before, in photos, in the police files, but not as a suspect, as an officer, one of the lead detectives who investigated the crime. My chest tightened as realization struck. The killer wasn't caught, because the killer was the one leading the investigation, and now he was staring directly at me. The killer was staring right at me, and for the first time, I realized he could see me too. His eyes narrowed, almost amused, like he'd been expecting me. The bloody knife gleamed in his hand as he took a step forward. But the others in the room, the accused man and the woman, they were still frozen in time. Only he and I were moving. Only he and I existed in this twisted loop. Strange, isn't it? His voice rasped, echoing through the house. No matter how many times it happens, you always show up. My chest tightened. What did he mean always? Was I trapped in this cycle, bound to this night forever? The woman's voice broke through the silence, soft, pleading. Don't let him do it again. I spun toward her. Her eyes were locked on mine, desperate. She knew I could change this. But how? I wasn't supposed to be here. The detective raised the knife high, his smile widening. This is my story, he growled. And you don't belong in it. The clock behind us roared, its ticking deafening. Now tick, 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 as the hands began spinning wildly, forward and back, bending time itself. The ground shook beneath my feet. The air fractured like glass shattering. And suddenly I was holding the knife too. The killer was no longer across the room. He was inside me, and the clock had just chosen its next murderer. To be continued. The knife was in my hand now, and the killer's voice, it was inside my head. Do it, he whispered. Finish what I started. My fingers tightened around the handle against my will. Every muscle in my body fought, but it was like I wasn't in control anymore. The detective's laughter echoed in my skull, low, cruel, endless. The woman's scream pierced the room, not at him, at me. I staggered backward, trying to drop the knife, but my hand wouldn't let go. It was as if the blade itself had fused to my skin. The clock thundered behind me, its hands jerking violently between past and present. Images flashed in my mind, every murder tied to this house, every victim whose blood had stained the floorboards, and always the same detective's shadow standing nearby. But now, it was my shadow too. The woman stepped forward, tears in her eyes. You have to fight him, she begged. You're the only one who can break the cycle. The killer's voice roared, drowning everything out. This is your destiny. The clock has chosen you. My arm raised high, the blade gleaming in the flickering light. Her face stared up at me. Fear, sorrow, trust, all tangled together. And for a split second, I couldn't tell if I was about to save her or kill her myself. The knife came crashing down, and the world went black. To be continued. The murder scene clock only works when I'm there. Part 7. The knife struck down. But when the world came back into focus, the blade wasn't in her chest. It was buried deep in the wooden floor. Right beside her, my hands trembled as I pulled back, gasping for air. The woman looked at me, wide-eyed, then at the clock. Its hands were spinning violently, sparks of light flashing from behind the glass face. And then I heard the detective again, furious this time. You think you can break me? I am the clock. The air rippled like the house itself was breathing. Shadows peeled off the walls, crawling toward me. Each one looked like the victims, dozens of them. Pale, broken, whispering in unison. End it, end it, end it. The woman grabbed my wrist. You're not his prisoner? You're his replacement. That's why you're here. Her voice broke. You have to destroy the clock before it destroys you. I turned toward the towering grandfather clock. Its face was cracked, light leaking through like a heartbeat. The detective's reflection glared at me from behind the glass, smiling, waiting. The last thing I remember is the floorboards creaking under my weight. As I slowly turned the clock's hands to midnight, the grandfather clock chimed once, twice, 3 times. And then I woke up. For weeks after that night, I tried to convince myself it was done. The house was gone, the clock destroyed, the voices silenced. But every night I still heard it. That faint, steady tick, tick, not in the house, not in my dreams, inside my own head. One evening I heard it louder coming from my living room. My chest tightened as I walked in. And there it was, standing against my wall, perfect, polished, waiting for me. The hands twitched, tick, 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 then they froze at midnight again. And in the glass face, I saw my own reflection. But it wasn't just me. Behind my eyes, I saw him. The detective smiling. I dropped to my knees, shaking, as the truth slammed into me. The clock wasn't cursed, it wasn't haunted, it was a doorway. And I hadn't destroyed it, I had become it. Now it only ticks when I'm near. Now it only works for me. And I finally understand why. Because one day it will choose someone else. And when it does, I'll be the shadow waiting for them. The murder scene clock doesn't just tell time, it tells my story now. And the ticking, it will never end.